Welcome to the Artist Chat Room. My name is Natasha from Natasha Castellan Art. The Artist Chat Room is a place where we talk about the business side of art. Think of me as a friend cheering you on from the sidelines saying, hey, go for it, you can do it, I believe in you, and here's some tips along the way. Today we are going to talk about talking about our art. I have a quote here from Sergio Gomez. Sergio is an amazing artist and an art business coach, and he says, I believe a good artist talk will make the viewer engage more in depth with the work. The talk should provide context and present a point of departure for a deeper conversation between the viewer and the work. And that was Sergio Gomez. They say a picture says 1,000 words, but sometimes we do need to help our art by saying some things about it. As Sergio says, we need to facilitate that deeper conversation between the viewer and our work. There may come a time, and it may have already come for you, when someone asks you about your work and says, hey, can you tell me a little bit about this work? Do you freeze up? What do you say? What are you going to say to them? Or you might be asked to speak at an opening or do an artist talk along the way. Well, today I'm going to hopefully give you some tips and ideas that will help you in order to be able to do that successfully. Firstly, and the main thing you have to remember is, hey, they want to hear from you. They're asking you because they want to hear from you, and you need to believe in yourself because they're obviously believing enough in you to ask you to be there. They appreciate what you're doing and they feel a little bit maybe ignorant on that subject and they want to know more. And the best thing is that you're the expert. No one else is the expert on your art. You're the expert on the art. So that's like the best thing ever. And the number one thing is believe in yourself, value for work. Sometimes we don't see the forest from the trees. We need to step back a little bit, both physically, obviously, to step back and look at our art, but also conceptually, step away from it, think about it, try and think about how maybe other people are perceiving your work, how they see it, and how you might be able to talk about it. Artworks they have a great blog, and they have this blog on how to speak confidently about your work, and I'm going to read out what they said. They suggest that you put a timer on and write without thinking. Don't think about your spelling or the grammar or the sentence structure or how clever it sounds. Just start writing. What motivated you to create this work? What are some of the themes and ideas behind it? What does it mean personally to you? How did you make it? Start just writing, write and write and write, and that will give you then the basis from which you can condense that and create maybe like what do they call it? An elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is a short description of an idea or a product that explains the concept in such a way that when you get in the elevator, by the time you get to the floor you want to be on, you have explained it to them. So write it down. And this can be done with your bio as well, or your artist statement. Just write it down in such a way that you would be able to proudly do an elevator pitch with it. The story behind your artwork, that is something that people really connect with. On the weekend I had an opening and there was a Q&A. You may have noticed I had teacups behind me before. They have gone to the opening, and there was a Q&A, and one of the questions was, tell us the story behind the artwork. And the story was, I miss drinking cups of tea with my friends and my daughters. But the interesting part of the story is I have this crazy kettle. It's like one of those old-fashioned kettles, and it whistles. I cannot have a cup of tea in private in my home because the kettle will whistle, it'll go berserk, and wherever the kids, I call them kids, they're adults, but when my adult children are at home, whenever they hear it, they go, tea time, and they come running down the stairs, and we have a great time. We share, we laugh, and I had so many comments about the story. I was on the day, people said, oh, I love hearing about your kettle, And on social media, people have contacted me saying, hey, I loved hearing the story about the whistle. People want to hear the story. It doesn't have to be your personal story, it could be someone else's story. Tell a story. Let your art be like a picture book. That's the photo, and then you've got a story behind it that you share. People buy work because they connect to it. They'll either connect to the story or the deeper meaning behind it. I have had people go read the blurb that I had about it and say, oh, that's me. And they buy the work because of that. So it's important to write about it. Sometimes the process is what's interesting. I have been following this amazing artist, I hope I say her name right, Liz Wickramasinghe, who makes her own little lino prints. She cuts them out and then she uses them to make the most amazing artwork. She stamps them on canvases and they're just beautiful. Very Australian natives. It's just lovely. And people want to hear about her process. The process could be interesting. You know, people who are doing encaustics or something different. Maybe my process isn't that interesting because it's just paint on a brush and I brush it up. But some people do very interesting processes. And know your audience. Think about what they might be interested. Of course, if they're artists, they'll be interested in your process. And share it confidently and genuinely from your heart. Keep it simple, keep it clear, not complicated with too much art jargon or anything. But your viewers aren't dumb either. You don't have to dumb it down. Just keep it clear and concise. If you are still concerned about this and you're worried, it's okay for you, Natasha, you're obviously a natural at it. Well, no, I've practiced. That's why I can do this. But if you're still concerned, consider joining a club like Toastmasters International. They're a great club and you can gain in confidence there. In fact, when I did an interview with Betty Frank Krause, who has over 100,000 followers, has a highly successful YouTube channel and sells her work all the time, she went to Toastmasters International to gain her confidence. So, that might be something you might like to do. You could take a friend out for coffee or invite them over and say, hey, Mary, I really need your help. I have to do this artist talk. If I just practice on you, see what you have to say. Maybe you have family who can do it. And they might even have some questions, clarifying question. They go, oh, I missed that part. And that could be another way. The most important thing is after the talk. If you have a talk publicly, make sure you stick around, you're available, you connect with people, you go to them, you talk to them, answer their questions. And in my opinion, listen to them and ask them questions. If they're talking about your art, say, hey, what is it about this that you really love? And ask them. Or you might just listen and hear what they have to say. And make sure you have your business cards ready because you never know where these connections could take you. Thank you for spending today with me. I'm going to reread that quote, which I have to find. I've put it down here from Sergio Gomez. I believe a good artist talk will make the viewer engage more in depth with the work. The talk should provide context and present a point of departure for a deeper conversation between the viewer and the work. Sergio Gomez. Have a great week. If you like it, please press like, subscribe. I try and come on here once a week and give some coaching advice to cheer you on. I hope your art journey is a great art journey and that you are successful in your business. Subscribe, like, come and see me on Instagram. I put all my work up on Instagram. That's where most of my social media is. And yeah, listen to my other videos and have a great and creative week. Bye for now.